A Terminator robot will arrive just in time. Hey man, well Failsafe is insane. Hey man, and Gotham's falling the game. Hey man, well he's got Batman, bam bam. He had contingencies and trophies, and then he's on me man, 'cause he can't afford the ticket in the Failsafe city. On me man, 'cause he ain't got time to check it in the Failsafe city.
It's not right, Eric. It is not right. That song is going to be it is the all-purpose song. I've been waiting.
The thing is, I like the song. I like the changing it up to make it for the Failsafe city now instead of Magistrate City. But isn't this more of like a City of Bane situation than what we have with the Magistrate?
But Eric, I don't care. I'm just going to go with it.
I'm fine with it. It's just the idea, though, the story, which I was really intrigued about by bringing the Batman Azura and all back and stuff like that. The contingency fail-safe robot in case Batman ever crossed the line. And what we have essentially now is just that City of Bane to the point where we have fail-safe robots that are trying to make sure that Batman stays on point while letting Blackgate prisoners terrorize the people in the city. I'm like, what is the point of all this at this point?
I just need to know. I wish, and usually we will get weird one-shots and things like that. I need to have a one-shot where it's fail-safe making these other robots. I need to see that he's not making them as good as him, that they're just like a little less, right? He's so pompous that he can't do it, because when you end up having him go against Batman, I'm expecting, like, bring some of your buddies. I mean, you got a whole army, don't you? But
what
I guess
are they doing except for keeping Justice Leaguers out of the city?
I guess they're keeping Justice Leaguers out of the city and making sure people don't walk their dogs, right? And go out for milk at 10 a.m. I don't know. And that's the problem. And I'll give Chip Zdarsky a little credit, because usually in these City of Bane, Fear State, all these things where Gotham is in lockdown, which we've had over and over and over.
McConnell is getting run out of office.
What is going on with him? And the idea, though, is usually I will complain.
He has an eye for the people.
He does have an eye for the people. He just doesn't have an eye for their
safety. The other one that we wanted, though.
Yeah, exactly. It was the right eye we needed. And I mean the right eye. You end up where I usually complain, hey, we're not seeing the common man's plight, the John and Jane Doe walking the streets
with their young child.
Yeah, and see what's going on. And in this, I've never said it, and I do, because it's kind of a side thought. The whole thing of Gotham is not really that concerning to me when it's just, hey, this is Batman's Doomsday, and it's going after Batman. And so it's a weird play. It's either that I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that, or maybe that's something that's left behind a little, because all through this, I know that Gotham is, on lockdown.
Siege.
I know they're saying all this, but it really doesn't matter, because in this issue, you end up doing something that is really odd, where Chip Zdarsky, I think he ran into a brick wall here at one point, because you want to up the ante, that this fail-safe robot and his army, that they could cause damage, but they won't kill. I mean, they might go after Batman to kill, but anybody else is safe. And so you have to throw that out, because when in hell would Batman ever make some sort of robot, even with R&R, that would be deadly to just common citizens? And I think it lessens it a bit, but you have to throw it out there, because Batman wouldn't do it. And all in all, it just makes very unfortunate circumstances, I think, for people in Gotham. They're now with their, robot overlords. I'm telling you right now, I say Failsafe actually wins the next mayoral election. I think things are great. The crime's off the streets, baby. I don't know.
The crime is all over the streets. People from Blackgate Prison are out for whatever reason, just terrorizing people, while Failsafe robots monitor the perimeter, make sure we keep Justice Leaguers and Batman out. But we're not protecting anybody. People are being murdered with their family on the streets by criminals.
And I think that there's a weird play here,
Sounds
too.
Sounds like a political message right now. If you elect Failsafe, he'll allow your family to be murdered by criminals on the streets. That's all I'm seeing right now as the big election is coming up. And it's over and over on YouTube. I'm like, God damn it, would you leave me alone?
Failsafe only cares about the Justice League getting in. He doesn't care what happens in the city. Yeah, really. And that's another weird play. I'm glad you brought that up, because you do have to point out, Batman, Zor-En-Arr, none of them would actually program something that would kill just regular people. Right. They would probably have a failsafe for that in Failsafe. But
failsafe.
There's also he has these contingencies. He's keeping the Justice League out, but why isn't where, if he is going to take down Batman because Batman stepped over the line, where is that kind of play of
Paul Meredith
getting a new Batman? make sure the city, because the city would be, if Batman or Zornar, anybody makes this failsafe, yeah, they want to take down Batman, but in the meantime, I think they'd also want to make sure that the city itself is safe.
And maybe that's something we'll have going on where it is, a single-minded entity right now with the failsafe robot where he has to complete his first primary directive of making sure that Batman's taken out. And once this is said and done, though, let's say because at the end of this issue, it looks like Batman, at least maybe believed to be dead at the end of this whole thing. So maybe even the whole thing where we actually have the Bat family all hung upside down in weird tubes while Barbara Gordon is plugged into the computer and making her a real-life Oracle right now, an Oracle robot herself. Maybe the whole thing after this is the failsafe robot's like, okay, I did my job. Dick Grayson, you're the new Batman. Do better than your predecessor.
The weird play is, and you say that, and we'll get in the credits in a minute, the weird play, and I do actually have to give Chip Zdarsky some credit where it was the idea that Alfred isn't around. That's cool.
Every time the news articles come out like Batman murdered somebody, I'm like, no, don't worry, failsafe. I'm going to reset you because it's some bullshit.
And that answers a question that we actually
Alfred's
had.
Not here. And Bruce Wayne can't be fucking bothered to take care of things like a failsafe.
And he didn't really know. And Alfred didn't really mention failsafe a lot to Bruce. But I think that the idea where...
What book has Alfred currently... Oh, it's Batman versus Robin. I'm like, he is coming back now. Where's he at? No, it's a Devil Ness Hot
That'd be great. Maybe that's how it's solved. Maybe he actually comes back. But you end up where I think that this failsafe program, I don't really love the idea of it trying to keep the Justice League out because it would be that play. Do you think that if Batman certainly killed somebody, if he did kill the Penguin, do you think the Justice Leaguers would have been down with that? I don't think you'd ever think that a Batman, and Failsafe, the program, wouldn't know how Batman would cross the line. But if he did, I don't think the Justice League, I don't think Dick Grayson, none of them would have been down with Batman doing that. And that's where I think it's kind of an odd play.
I don't know how much that Aquaman knows in this, except for Batman was healed by Aquaman in Atlantis for the last 2 weeks, so he can be back at 100%, or at least close to 100%, so he can go back and take on Failsafe and be all Batman about it. I don't know how much that Arthur Curry knows about the situation in Gotham where they, it said that Batman killed the Penguin and all these other things.
Yeah, because he's not saying that, yeah.
Even when Aquaman has the Atlantean Guard who are like, you're not our king, why do we give a shit about a landlord Batman? Like, you know how many times that Batman saved the world? You do whatever you can because he's done it too many times to fucking count. So maybe that's the whole idea, too, where the Justice League is giving him the benefit of the doubt, even though they don't know. And Failsafe is like, look, listen, I know what's going on here. I got to take him down, and I got to get through you assholes to do it.
It's weird that they never even said, hey, Bruce, by the way, all this stuff, Failsafe, put that aside. Did you kill the Penguin? Right now, Paul Meredith is laughing his ass off. I'm telling you, he is watching the news, laughing his ass off. He loves it. Oh, my God, he is going to town here. Oh, my goodness gracious.
God, I hope we get back to that story.
How hilarious would it be if, just as an aside, we end up seeing this bouquet that had been delivered to Failsafe. It's from Paul Maris' shop. It'll be the best. It'll be so great. This is Batman 129, by the way. It's written by Chip
Every
Zdarsky.
week, Paul Meredith sends a happy anniversary to Failsafe.
Yeah, it's almost like the idea that Joe DiMaggio always put those roses on Marilyn Monroe's grave. He just keeps sending flowers. And this does not compute.
That. It's the same thing as Bruce Wayne putting flowers on his parents' grave every year. Or what I do with my daddy's grave every year.
I was getting a little sexy. And I think it might be like either an anniversary. It might be every day, but he's dead and his money might have run out. I don't know. Art by Jorge Jimenez, Tomé Moret, and Clayton Cowles.
I think we owe him money for just saying his name now.
Yeah, really. All of a sudden, don't say Mr. Coffee. You're going to pay 3 times. So you end up starting this out and you do end up with that. Hey, everybody. Gotham sucks once again. This is where I'm telling you.
The hell you say?
I don't know if you've ever heard this plan, but seriously, government should wall this ass city in. Let's have a no man's land again.
Exactly.
That's what we need. I mean, just wall this in and let them fight it out, and really go with like a Squid Games, right? It's the Gotham games. Just do it. Have them all kill each other.
Go classy, Jim. It's a freaking Snake Plissken Escape from New York.
Yeah, that would be. But then you don't want the president, who at that point would probably be Lex again. He'll crash land in there, right?
For some reason, though, Nick Connor's going to be Snake Plissken because he has the eye patch ready.
Oh, my God. He would be. And then he'd go in, trip and fall and kill himself. That's all it would be. This guy can't get out of his own way. Where's the tower? But yeah, everybody's there. The town, the city, it's a shambles. Whenever you think of it, here's the funny play, too. Yeah, what is it? It's another Tuesday. You have to make sure with your writing this, you are playing a game that we played over and over and over again. It's funny because I really wish we had one of those times, and Failsafe might have been the time where we actually had things running smoothly. You end up seeing Failsafe. He's in a board meeting with Nakano. They're getting along great.
Not even a board meeting with Nakano. He's going back to Wayne Enterprises, putting on like a suit like, I am the Bruce Wayne.
He's smoking up a robot cigar. I just need him to end up where everybody's like, man, I really like that Failsafe. He's there opening up a grocery store.
Nakano's sweating because everybody has signs for like that Failsafe for mayor.
His arm turns into scissors. People get a little whacked out by that, Eric. It's a little scary, but it's okay. He opens it up. He's kissing babies.
He's a Swiss Army politician.
It'd be great. I mean, it would be funny to actually see that the city finally has its protector it always needed. Failsafe. And then Batman, hey, just go and do your thing. And then Batman gets so pissed off, and he's like, screw this. Let's go, Justice League. We're going to go fight this unknown enemy in space. I think it might be Pariah. And then goes and dies, right? So you end up, though, that you have to show that, Gotham needs that Batman, even though Batman has caused every bit of these problems. Without Batman in Gotham City, this would never happen. And so, yeah, he's healing
it's
down
one of those things, when we're all
Atlanta.
said and done with this first arc of Chip Zdarsky, you get this all of a sudden, I need Batman to realize the Failsafe problem, yes, it was excessive, but he needs to, do it better. I don't think he freaking, I can't think of the word when you get rid of something, but I don't think he gets rid of it completely. I actually think he tweaks it. Whatever, something along those lines. I had a word in mind, but
that's what's going to happen. Brother Eye next,
got some problems. He keeps, evolving the situation. But I need, after this is all said and done, that Gotham not have things that are, invading it anymore. I need Gotham to be lay low for this while, because this is getting to the point where it's almost just like the Joker, where it's overdone.
Yeah, it has to stop. It really does. And maybe what we'll get, because this will end, and then we'll get Dark Crisis, and then we'll be after that. And so when you come back, I don't know that Batman should just take a little bit of a sabbatical and get the hell out of Gotham. I know you want him in Gotham. You're going to have, but I don't know.
Alfred died.
I know. Well, he can't die again. Well, I guess he can. He's back. You take him with you. If you dress up like Magnum P.I., make sure that he's there with you. That's it. He could dress up as Huggy Bear. He's Huggy Bear. We're just going to combine everything in. So you end up there where all this, he also looks like Lurch a little, so you could do that. But you're down in Atlantis, and Aquaman kind of wants to know what gives. Hey, what's going on? What's happening with this thing? And he tries to explain it, and then Aquaman finally realizes, oh, crap, you put a target on Atlantis. Like, you didn't know before.
Well, eventually, after Failsafe goes through all the variables about where Batman would be, and so who's going to help? Like, we have not checked Atlantis. We better go check that shit.
I would have liked, actually, because the Justice Leaguers are trying to get into Gotham. And he says, this does not compute. Aquaman has not tried to enter the city. I wish that it was that program. And he's like, but he's bullshit. There's no water here. So that makes sense. Fish man. He can make some Little Mermaid jokes, right, Eric? He has those computed in there. But yeah, he's now realizing if there's any place that he's at, it might be with Aquaman in Atlantis. And even if it isn't, maybe he thinks he can go and talk to him. But before that even happens, you do have Batman tell him, says, I got to get out of here. And you have that scene, like you said, and I thought it was a pretty good scene where, scene. The guards of Atlantis.
You wait, our king. You shut your mouth.
I'm glad that Chip Zdarsky's playing it because he's not. But he would still have the respect of all of them.
I like the idea when Failsafe finally does, and Arthur Curry confronts him and stuff like that, and he starts going after the guards. The guard's like, look, I will tell you where this surface door is. I don't give a shit about him. They go there. Batman's already gone. Well, shucks.
Yeah, he's gone. And that's pretty cool. And it just shows you never trust Atlantean guards, right? That's
off to one of my favorite places in the DC universe that we barely get to see anymore, except for that weird Harley Quinn weekly
I actually
book
thought we were going to deal with some of the things out of that. I was a little scared. But
when we get to the moon base, I love the Justice League moon base. The idea when you had it back in I think we started in Brad Meltzer's run back in the early 2000s with the idea of you have the Hall of Justice as that thing that people can go to. It's just kind of a front organization. So exactly. You go and you do your slideways teleportation to the real Justice League headquarters on the moon. And it's so disappointing that we don't get back this. I'm happy to see it here, even though we essentially, it was decommissioned in that Harley Quinn series. And the things seemed to be in shambles there because we had, mutated Element X there just doing whatever it wanted to do. And now after Batman's done with them, are we getting back to this? Because it seems like it's as messed up as it was back when Infinite Crisis started happening.
And I do like that. I'm with you. I like it. I like the idea, though. Every time that we deal with it now, it is usually the idea that something sus was left there. They did this and that. But having Batman go and you see that things are left there. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But when he goes, that's the thing. Batman is trying to think ahead, but he's got to think ahead in a different way. He can't think like himself because that's how Failsafe is thinking. I think that's a pretty cool deal.
Like Superman too.
And so yeah, exactly. And so when you have this, you ended up when this started. Chip Zdarsky did announce this is going to be.
He's a Zoomer. He ain't never seen that movie.
No, he hasn't seen that. He ends up where he announced that Batman would have his Doomsday, and I thought that was we've heard this before. We've heard, oh my God. This character is going to have that character. This character is going to have his Joker. This is that. This is a little bit more on the nose than I thought. I thought it was just like, oh, it's just going to be a random villain that might be able to kill Batman. Okay. But this actually does play out like a Doomsday fight. You end up having a unrelenting enemy that's just going to rip through everything to get to Batman with no other goal.
I'll think you too.
Yeah, and that's the big thing.
The only one who can defeat Batman is Batman himself.
Batman having all those plans and being smart, you have a Doomsday now that is a thinking Doomsday because you're going against Batman, and that's pretty cool. I wish that at the point where we get a big moment in this, that Batman is a crazy Hail Mary, I wish that it was more of that, like, I know it's supposed to be, hey, I'm going to do something I never would do, but I was kind of confused at the one point. I'm like, I don't know, if you're under attack, you do this stuff, but it is that weird play where he has to think, not even just outside the box. He has to think opposite of himself. He should have went to the Two-Faces and asked him how he does it, right? Flip a coin.
He does that all the time.
He could have flipped the coin, though, and, done a deal. But, yeah, he's on the run trying to keep ahead, and he does have a plan. We get through that narration as he's going. It's like, okay, and I like that. You're going along with Batman. He's not going to give you what he's going to do, but he's like, okay, I have to have him do this. Hopefully he'll do this. All right, you're going with the plan.
But when he comes to the moon base, like, okay, I have a new Genesis freaking 40 million gigawatt fucking gun I'm going to blast him with. It blows his outer shell off, so that's getting somewhere. It didn't do the job I exactly wanted to do, but you know what? We're getting somewhere. I'm going to blow airlocks out of the moon base, try to suck this bad boy, whatever. And eventually we're going to get to the point of the fight where I'm going to go into the Just League teleportation system, which Failsafe knows I would do. And he has taken out all of the, the places that I can teleport to, except for one, which I know he's going to have trapped. So what I'm going to do is pull a Superman 2. I'm going to get inside this chamber, and everywhere else in the room is going to teleport but me. Haha, Failsafe.
Yeah, he's going to do that. Unfortunately, it rips apart, the moon base, and he ends up in space. And then,
oh no, I didn't think this through.
Yeah, and he's like, oh God, okay, Javelin 1, Javelin 2, oh no, none of that now.
He's taken out all the, and even the idea of calling out the Javelin. We haven't had the Javelin in so long and stuff like that. The idea that we have multiple, and the Failsafe, without us having it for so goddamn long, any of the, like the Justice League jets, he's disabled all of them, so he has nothing. So it's just Batman floating in space while he does have a sealed suit that allows him to breathe. It is still minus how many degrees in space. He is going to just float out there and freeze to death, and there's nothing that's going to be coming for his ass.
The craziest deal, you're not going to wish for it, but he could start re-entry, and then he's dead as well. I mean, there's no way in this, but I kind of wish that we had that.
Do you think Batman could pull that off? Because I think he's small enough where he wouldn't create like any kind of burn to go into that, and eventually with the idea of the Bat God,
if you go back, I was just going to say, if you want to go full Bat God, then yeah,
where the cape becomes a parachute that he can deploy at some time and re-enter Earth
too
safely.
Much. I mean,
it's a lot. Like, I'm not saying that I'm a smart guy and I know how the world works and how things work when they enter it, but I feel like from things I've seen in media, which media would never lie to me, the idea of a small enough person like this will be able to go in there safely into the atmosphere with this, proper stuff. The idea that we have here with all the stuff that I'm talking about is the one thing that Batman doesn't have a contingency for right now in a suit where he is going to freeze to death if he doesn't get out of space soon.
And again, I wish that maybe if you really want to amp up the tension and whatnot, Superman can't get into Gotham. I wish maybe somehow he got captured by Failsafe, because then you'd know. Because he's the one.
They did say something about Superman in this, didn't they? Oh, no, the thing is, too, he got pushed out. Plus, last time Superman tried to do anything, he got stabbed with a kryptonite knife.
He ended up, they tried to heal him. So maybe they should have shown, because I just get the idea that, one of those characters will go get him. But there has
Not
been
Plastic
people.
Man.
No, I love the idea, too. It's like, some of these people have been taken down, and some of them, they're on vacation and things. They're out and about because they are monitoring everything with Oracle.
Brian is not getting involved.
No, all of a sudden he could make that cocoon sphere around him, almost a Groot-esque deal like he did in Metal, and maybe that could be it there. Maybe that's why we saw Plastic Man. We'll see. Maybe you've actually stumbled on it without even realizing. But That'd be a little wacky, too.
The way that Failsafe and Oracle talked about this, 78% of metahumans with a connection to Batman have been attempted breaching Gotham, have been rebuffed or captured. 17% of the remaining beings are currently caught in unrelated skirmishes. So right now, Superman could be caught in an unrelated skirmish. Let's say War World.
Yeah, it could be. Also, I mean, we're not even saying the idea that there's Batman floating in the dead of space. Who's going to make Failsafe not go and get him himself and just, pew, pew.
You're right. Adam Strange will help us.
Actually, the way that it plays out, it was weird because when it said those associated with Batman, then I'm thinking, okay, what characters would you say aren't associated? Like, what are the ones? Because Adam Strange, so I think, a little bit of a buddy with the Batman, right? And I'm just thinking, like, what?
They all pass?
To me, in my mind, every character is involved with Batman. There's nobody that wouldn't be. But I was trying to think, like, is that the hint that somebody like that will save him? Somebody, I don't know. Lex Luthor saves him out of nowhere to make himself look good. Something
even
like
the
that.
idea of these people who are associated with Batman and what they know and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how well a technological being like Failsafe would be able to determine, let's say, a dead man. But then I say to them, like, what can Dead Man do?
I know.
Like, he's going to possess Batman and Batman's going to die still.
He'll die. But at least he wouldn't realize he's dying because it's Boston and they're screaming and yelling. But
that's as far as I went that I realized my logic made no sense.
I do like, though, where, Batman had to do something. This was just the desperation plan. He just figured the javelins were there. There you go. Maybe that'll be the deal.
He's not a metahuman. He's an alien.
Yes, he is. But is he? So yeah, we'll see. And I saw some people reacting before this issue came out that, oh my God, this week Batman dies. Oh my God, Batman dies. So I went and did a song, Eric, and now I don't know if he's dead, so I couldn't play it.
It's because you listen to people on the internet because of a cliffhanger where Batman looks like he's dead every fucking issue.
I know. It's funny, though, that you're also now, so Chip Zdarsky is playing a game here, right? Gotham has fallen. We've seen that, last count, 17 times in the last 24 hours. Then you end up where, oh my God, Batman's dead. But he's able to do it in a way that it actually feels like it does have a bit of oomph. Though, as the timeline seems to be, I said to you before we recorded, say Batman dies. Well, we know he gets revived to go die again. I mean,
exactly.
There you go.
Can't be dead twice.
It's so crazy that he may actually die twice in a hot weekend.
It's just going to be that situation where Buffy was prophesied to die when she over against the Master, and then she was resuscitated by Xander. And okay, the prophecy fulfilled.
I'm waiting for that to be like, when you're a kid, you would think that somebody who is on an electric chair, you zap them for the death penalty, they die, but then they're revived, then they get to go free, right? Like a kid
I don't think that's how it works.
But a kid would think, like, is that how Failsafe works? Is it like, well, you died. My job
he doesn't
is done.
He didn't look at the fine points.
He didn't look at the fine print.
Right,
he's like, all right. All of a sudden, you see Failsafe now has the look of Magnum PI. He goes off. I like Failsafe with a little mustache. He goes off, and he's there partying it up with Catwoman. So
I am Mechanic Malone.
If it ends, that would be good. If he ends up
Mechanical Malone.
If he ends up where that's the fine print, I just needed to be around until you died. See you later. High five. That will be lame.
See you next time, murderer.
You got me this time on the technicalities.
I'm telling you, I feel like that's one of those situations where you can double talk a robot to where he's like, error, because but technically I did die, Failsafe. Oh no, you've got me, Batman.
I have to keep fighting you until you die. But I did. Oh no, zeros are ones. And then he just starts, blowing up. Oh no. And now we see him, and he's working a amusement park Ferris wheel. Now, Eric, he's brain dead, and he's doing like Mammoth did. And then Damian's like, I knew you'd get to my level soon enough. But yeah, all this, and when I said earlier about Failsafe, knowing or thinking that maybe, okay, Batman killed somebody, the Bat family, all of them, they wouldn't be down with that. I really wish that you ended up where you had one person. Dick Grayson would be the one for me. Dick Grayson's in the two. Everybody else is fine. And you wonder, why is Dick Grayson? And it's because he knows that Dick is so loyal to Bruce that even if he ended up killing him, he would be still on his side. And I thought that would have been a kind of a neat thing, just as an aside. It's just weird, though. Failsafe is like, it's only about bringing down Batman and no other plans. And that doesn't feel like a Batman deal, but maybe he thought it'd be easy enough. Terminator robot comes and takes Batman out, and then we, go and have another battle for the cow, I guess. But in that, though, it's okay. I liked it. I liked the battle. I liked the action. And then you get the backup, and
because last issue I enjoyed the backup just for the simple case of it was trying to reintroduce people to who the Batman Azura and R is and stuff like that in a contemporary kind of setting, just to give you the basic gist of what we're currently dealing with Batman. We love the Catwoman way more, but I didn't mind it. And now we get to the idea where Batman is really trying to create this personality subconsciously in case his mind is ever taken over again, and he's working towards that. But it's making the Joker a little bit sad because Dr. Milo messed with the Batman's mind, and if Batman's as crazy as he is, does that mean the Joker's got to be the straight man of the gig? So he doesn't like this. So the Joker, he lost his damn smile, Jim. He's the man who stopped laughing.
This is the problem here. Where did they get this idea that 3 stories in a row we have such a similar deal? And even then, what Chip Zdarsky in this backup is playing is, to me, it's almost the idea of Lisa Simpson being the thug. And, oh my God, Bart, does that mean you have to be the good student and then he can't quite do it? That's all it reminds me of.
Put your hand down.
Put your hand down. You've been wrong. And gets beat up for wasting teachers' valuable time.
Valuable time.
It's so funny. But again, when you're reading these things, it's a real shame. And I'm going to say it again when we talk about the next book. The timing of these things, of all of them doing, that's what I said. They're all bleeding in and out of my head. I got problems. Agree. It's everything's
right now we have a book where it's the Batman the Joker, the man who stopped laughing. We currently, before this, in the goddamn Jokes and Riddles and Tom King's run, had the Joker who lost his smile, the man who couldn't laugh there. Now we have the same situation in a backup story that's trying to tell you about Zura and R, where essentially it's just Joker, feeling a little bit blue for a while, murder some people. His Batman sad now. He's happy, and the Zura and R is going to come out and take over.
Yeah, and it's just too much of the same thing in 1 week, and it's not a great backup. There was a funny play too when you do end up seeing, Dick Grayson upside down in the tube and things like that. But
you do have the Zura and R at the end of this, like, Joker, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, you have that at least. When you see Dick Grayson and them hanging in the tubes, it did remind me of when Bane was, hanging the Robins in Tom King's run, and then we never found out what happened from that.
What the hell was
Remember,
the deal
it looked
with
like
that?
they were
idea
dead.
That Bane's getting revenge on the Bat family and hung everybody to death in the Batcave, but they were fine?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's really when I really started flipping my lid back then. Yeah, just put them in the tubes. We didn't realize that the tubes are actually not to hold the uniforms. They're fucked. People now, and it always happens where people look back, and people liked it at that point, but I think they were trying to convince themselves. But when you go back and people start, oh, no, I reread it and it's great. I'm like, bullshit. There's no way. That shit, because they let just everything just slide on by like that shit. They were hanging. I don't get it, Eric. But what would you give this overall?
Overall, I really enjoyed the main story, even though you don't get a lot of progression with a lot of things going on. It's just Batman fighting off Failsafe in a moon base and Aquaman saying, that's my bro fucking Batman over there. Which is enough, though, for the way we're doing it, because we have some great art going through. I actually care about this story, want to see what happens next for Batman and Gotham as a whole. So I'm still going to give this, even though there's not a lot going on, a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm an 8. I'm an 8 out of 10. I like the art, and I like that play.
I could have been an 8 until that backup.
Yeah, I always try to say that the backups don't normally affect my score, but
they affect me when I have to read it and get pissed off.
I did get annoyed, but the problem is I got more annoyed each story I read in this first section being the same thing, and then I really was upset, but I did like it. And again, the progression, it's like the progression of the Doomsday story, the death of Superman. There wasn't a ton of full out, plot to it. It was just a straight up fight. And I like seeing Batman trying to desperately come up with a plan. Maybe he should have, as he was running away, he has his keys and he's like, to see if the javelins
even
were
the plans
around.
that we have weren't great. Even in Failsafe, where we just have the Bat family or I forget if it was the Bat family or the Justice Leaguers at one point. Oh yeah, we happen to be in a part of this one block where it has all the contingencies for the Justice League in case they happen to be here. That was just on the nose out of nowhere. And so even with Batman, we're going to take him to the moon base, we're going to blast him with a gun, blow an airlock, and then reverse teleportation him. And I'm like, I needed just a little bit more, the idea of this fight with this overwhelming presence. It doesn't feel all that thought out because it's a gun, airlock, and teleporting.
When you were talking about the stuff with Batman, your nonsense, Hestan, I was going to say at that point, I'll just say it now, once this is over, first off, Nakano has to go, but you can't keep making buildings into mechs. You gotta stop that. You can't let the town make towers for Arkham. You got to get back to the basics here in Gotham and really tighten the ship up a bit and not get it taken over again. because I think that you
make Gotham great again.
Is it Clayface next? I mean, who's going to take over the city next? Really? It's like going to go down.
Say that. I want to see that story now.
You want Clayface to take it over? And it just has
City of Clay.
He has all that. Oh, that actually would be pretty good, right? And then you'd have a bunch of different Clayface, people walking around. I don't know, Clayface people walking.
Clay soldiers.
Clay soldiers going around. Be pretty cool.
And then we could have that song, but it's Clay soldiers.
That would be pretty good. Actually, if you were going to do anything at this point, after this, the only play I could see involving maybe a taking over of Gotham is somebody finally, and I'm talking maybe a good guy, saying, I got to take this. You cannot do this anymore, Batman. Get out of here. It could be Ghostmaker. Who knows?